Hi everyone, welcome to day 11 of Lenormarch. After making mincemeat out of the snake card, I'm going to do my very best to keep things short, sweet and succinct with today's feature, the bouquet and the scythe. So the bouquet number 9, well, I always think of situations that you may present to someone with a bouquet. And so it's well wishes, if someone's recovering from health, so you get that sort of feeling of get well, be well, happiness, joy. Flowers are presented to people for birthdays, and you hold a bouquet at a wedding. So it's all that kind of, happiness, joy, perhaps even contentment, but also a get well. The essence of the card, I think, has more to do with, I always remember, again, I think this is Hex Claire. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but there's certain things just really stand out for me when I first watch her video, and that is that you are welcome in this situation. So if you pull this card, it's like, especially, I always thought of, say, career, you know that you are appreciated for what you do or for the job that you do. You are appreciated as a person, which I think is really lovely. So perhaps you could say happy times, appreciation, positive, pleasant energy. As the Beach Boys said, good vibrations. So that's a really lovely card to have. And then as we move across to the scythe seems like, the chief decision maker. He can swiftly cut something off at a moment's notice. So it could be like a sudden, swift change. I always remember reading that I'm not sure if this comes from the French, German or both, that wherever the scythe is pointing, like the pointy end, this card here is what's going to be cut off, and the other side is what's being harvested. So that's an interesting philosophy in itself. So the scythe cuts straight into the situation or the circumstances without hesitation. He's in there real quick. So it reminds me of the planet Uranus, who rules sudden shifts and changes, disruptions. Uranus rules earthquakes and tsunamis, and it's just like this sudden shift of energy that can really kind of, knock you off your feet kind of thing. So it can be very abrupt. And I guess at times that can be a good thing, suddenly things shift for the better. But I think the most important thing to keep in mind is that it's coming quickly. And because it has a sharp, pointy end, I guess you might say under certain circumstances, yes, you may get cut. It could be a sharp jab that may not be as pleasant as you would have hoped. I think I read somewhere it can be cutthroat, like a cutthroat person, which I can still really appreciate if it's next to one of the significators. But all in all, it's that sudden shift, that sudden cutting off. And I do imagine that it can be quite hurtful. It could also relate to surgery, obviously, if there's a cutting action. But I imagine once it's cut, that's it. It's cut. It's done. It's finished. So I like Kelly's philosophy with regards to the harvest, because as I said, I did read that harvest is one side and cutting is the other. And I think I'd like to strike a nice balance between the two, or be able to understand how to use them well with those two philosophies. So cutting and harvesting, and you are most welcome. Things are looking good and pleasant, happy times with, or that sense of appreciation that comes out of the bouquet. And the question to go with those cards is, do you think all painful experiences have a silver lining? Is there some way in which we can see the end of something, like our good fortunes, and find that the end experience actually gave us something? Well, I think, in a strange kind of way, there is a silver lining at the end of all painful experiences. It's almost that feeling that I think if you are aware and you are happy to learn, there is always a positive out of every challenging and even negative situation. Yes, even if it is, I learned this, blah, blah, blah. So I think your perception and your attitude towards life plays a great part yet again. If you decide you want to blame another person or a situation for your misfortune, it's going to be harder to grasp that philosophy. But if you do, keep your spiritual head screwed on, yes, you can see that there's, even if it's a very, very challenging situation, you can see that there's always some good coming out of it. My computer's just gone black. 1 second. Okay, I just lost my screen. So I had to read that second part of the question again. Is there some way in which we can see the end of something, like our good fortunes, and find that in the end the experience actually gave us something? I think every experience gives us something, absolutely. And again, I think it's always some form of lesson, but that doesn't have to be a bad thing. I don't even know whether I'm really understanding that question, but I hope I'm answering that kind of correctly, that in the end the experience actually gave us something. I think it does. Is there some way in which we can see the end of something like our good fortune? So even if you lose, I think what you're saying, Kelly, that even if, say, the scythe comes along and cuts away quickly what we deem as our good fortune, do we find in the end that experience actually gave us something? Yes. Yes. Yeah, even if it seems like something good has been taken away, there's always a positive lesson or outcome, or there's always something positive that you can take out of that situation, even if it was very, very suddenly, and you feel like the rug was pulled from under you. What comes out of it is definitely positive. Okay, it's still Sunday, just so you know, and clearly I've actually even gone for a walk and I still can't speak, so I don't know what's going on, but I'm actually starting to think it's funny. So I'd better go now. Thank you so much. Bye.